That's probably just something I've always done. You take a good book, dig into. Oh, there's a lot of interesting stuff here. It's fun, and you just keep going with it. I mean, I've had a book going on a constant basis, for the last 60 years. And during the season, there are days I may get to read 2 pages. Okay, Wednesday and Thursday during the season, that's about what it comes to. 2, maybe if I'm lucky, 3 pages. But you keep, if that's 2-3 pages, that's 2-3 pages closer to the end.
One book in particular sparked an interest in Adams that has lasted a lifetime.
We were classmates at Phillips Academy at Andover. It's boarding school. I knew who Bill was because I had read his dad's book, which I think probably caught Bill a little bit off guard.
So we both played on the offensive line, actually played next to each other. I was the center and he was the guard. And, we met and kind of got to know each other there. But, he mentioned that he had read my dad's book, which not too many people had. It was really a very technical book and a coaching book. So he mentioned that very, very early. It might have been our first meeting.
Football is on the one hand, it's a simple game. I mean, it's 2 acres and a ball. On the other hand, it can get fairly intricate, a lot of tactics involved. And some people, like me, you get hooked on it.
After graduation from Northwestern, Adams set out for a career in the NFL in his home state.
Very convenient for me, being from Boston, that Chuck Fairbanks was willing to give me a chance. And Chuck had, of course, coached at the University of Oklahoma, where he had a lot of graduate assistants. He understood the concept, of having a young guy to do the grunt work. It was an accelerated master's and PhD program in football, working with, one of the best coaching staffs I've ever seen. Charlie Sumner, Larry Weaver, John Polonchek, Ray Perkins. Hank Bulla was a great defensive coach, and for 4 years, we're socially distanced here for COVID, probably about 10 to 12 feet away from, while my desk was right across from Henry's about the same distance. So I started off, sitting like this with, one of the best defensive coaches in football. If you really want to learn the game, that's a great way to do it.
Coach Fairbanks knew good players. He knew good coaches. You look at the Red Millers and the Ray Perkins and the Raymond Berries and the Hank Bullas and all these guys who later became head football coaches in the NFL. I think Coach Fairbanks said, or saw something in Ernie, said, this team can be better with Ernie Adams around. I want him around.
The way the program evolved, every day at practice, we schedule a practice for every group of players right down to the minute. The board that we used, the format that we used with Coach Fairbanks in 1975 is exactly the same as we use today. If Hank Bulla came onto our team right now, he would absolutely instantly recognize the way we call defenses. Coach Fairbanks was an organizational expert, and he never said no. He said, if you can do that, go ahead and do it. You can do it over here, so and that really flows through to what we've done at the Patriots in the last 20 years. We don't put people in little boxes. If you can do something and help, great, do it.
In the 70s, the 2 kids who met at Andover would finally work together at the New York Giants. When Coach Belichick left to take the job in Cleveland, Ernie went with him. When Belichick was let go, Ernie turned to the financial world. But football would never be too far away.
Even when I was working on Wall Street, I would, if the Giants were playing at home, I was going to the Giants game. It's the kind of thing, once it's in your blood, it's always there.
It's my honor and pleasure to introduce Bill Belichick.
Looked like a great opportunity. And that's all it is, it's an opportunity. The odds are when you're hired at a pro football team, the odds are it's not going to work out.
On page 54 of the Patriots Media Guide, Adams is listed as Football Research Director, a simple title that belies a much more complex role.
There's a ton of value and, a person that I like to, bounce things off of, or, he'll make suggestions and give me ideas of things that we might have overlooked. I rely on them a lot, but so do a lot of other coaches on the staff. They have a question or it's a situation that comes up in those kind of areas. He's really the guy we go to for the answers.
But it's a lot different than what we played in last week. This is definitely going to affect the game.
I got a great job. Basically, the way Bill put it to me when I started was figure out what you can do to help us win and do it. I say if that's running minimal, really controlled reps, if that's going to set them back,
We're in trouble.
We're in trouble.
Yeah, I agree.
So my job since I've been here, it's encompassed the full range, coaching, working on the draft, starting off how we're going to handle salary cap when the cap came in. I mean, it's had a chance to put my fingers in a lot of pies. Hopefully, I haven't messed them up.
What do you think we're looking here, Ernie?
Good, yeah, just good job running the routes against.
He's at every practice.
Just trying to get our game plan honed as best possible.
He's on the field before the game.
So let's say we're playing a new quarterback, and we may have been studying my tape. I want to stand right behind him, see him throw the ball.
And in the coach's booth during the game.
What do you think, Ernie?
With a direct line to Belichick.
I think it's going to be closer than where they put it. I'm not sure if he's got
Okay, we have a rule. Most important thing is everybody can hear. If you don't have a need to talk, keep your mic off. In fact, if you talk out of turn, you're going to get a little reminder very quickly about what not to do.
As Adams says, it's been a very successful relationship that has lasted here for more than 20 years, which has created an almost verbal shorthand between he and the head coach.
The shorthand is a really important part of the relationship because you usually anticipate what the other person's thinking, just like they anticipate what you're thinking, and you know what is important to talk about and what minutia doesn't need to be talked about.
For instance, if we talk at halftime, you don't have time for a 4-minute conversation, but in 30 seconds, we can cover a lot of ground. Hey, this is a problem. This is what we need to do to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, because it's,
Yeah. I like that.
I mean, if there's guys who look, and that's.
Yeah, there'll be a couple of guys. Right.
He's always been a voice that could talk to Bill, and when I was there, to Bill, myself, and the group of us, in terms of speaking truth to power.
Those shared experiences can provide dividends down the road, like this one.
Okay, so I'll tell you probably my favorite. We were playing at the Giants late in the season, 1981. We had a game with the Rams. It's late in the game. We got to get a stop on defense, or the game's over. Sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures. So we get a short yardage situation. Bill Parcells in his first year as a defensive coordinator, and he calls goal line defense. Well, you don't really play goal line defense out in the field on short yardage, because if they break through, they can run 60 yards for a touchdown because there's nobody left. But if it's the end of the game and they make 1 yard, the game's over, it doesn't matter. So we go goal line, we stop them, get the ball back. We weren't great on offense, but we were able to do enough just to win the game. So flash forward 20 years.
The temperature, 25 and snowing. In fact, a beautiful New England snowfall we had here tonight.
We're 2:15 to go in the fourth quarter of the snowball. Okay, we take our last time out. They get the ball 3rd and 1. So it's really simple. We're either going to get a stop and get another chance, or they're going to get a first down. They're going to kneel on it 3 times, and all we get out of it's a cold ride home in the snow. And that situation, it just kind of triggered. I hit the mic on my headset. It says, "Hey, don't we want to go goal line here?" Yeah, that's the call. We go goal line. They're not really ready for it. They don't block Richard Seymour. It's hard to run up the middle against the Patriots if you don't block Richard Seymour. We stop them. And that goes to the tuck rule, the field goal, the whole blah, blah, blah. But it was just, that won a game for us against the Rams in 1981 that I guarantee, and nobody remembers that game. Everybody in New England remembers the snowball.
Patriots
He's played an integral part in 8 Super Bowl championships, 6 here with the Patriots. His low profile creating an almost mythical presence among Patriots fans.
One of the big reasons we've had success here is we don't have a lot of people, oh, gee, I deserve the credit for this. I did that. I'm wonderful. We just don't function like that. I mean, it's everybody just come in, do your job, try to get better every day, make the team better. And believe me, when you win in this league, there's plenty of recognition to go around.
Ernie's, a friend first and an associate second, but, we've had a long history together and a good one. And I appreciate everything that he's done for me, which is a lot.
I cannot think of another person who deserves to be in the Patriots Hall of Fame more than Ernie Adams for all that he's done as a quiet leader, not just a contributor, but as a quiet leader in the organization over decades.
There's one more thing we wanted to know about Adams.
You're trained, you're seasoned.
While it was cool to see him in his office as part of an NFL Films documentary, we couldn't miss pink stripes on the whiteboard behind him. Words that have become a sort of rosebud for an entire generation of Patriots fans.
That's proprietary football information.
Do you realize that people in New England are dying to realize, is that like the keys to unlock the nuclear code? Was this the play that helped beat?
Oh, you know what? Sometimes I think it's best to leave things to people's imaginations. So I'll let it go at that.